Join UF Hall of Famer and 14-year NFL vet Shane Matthews every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about your Florida Gators, including news, analysis, and opinions with some of the biggest names in sports. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Or watch us live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter.
Good morning. It is a live Thursday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the Morning, coming to you from the International Diamond Center Studios, locations across the state of Florida and right there in Celebration Point in the heart of Gator Nation. Go check them out at International Diamond Center Studios. Today's program will have Brent Beaird, our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter, get his thoughts on the Heisman, who he voted for. And then Win with JC will be the second portion of today's program. Gators winning basketball last night. No surprise. St. Francis is a bad basketball team. Good win for the Gators being back in the O'Connell Center. Back to the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by, as I said, our college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter. Brent, good morning. How you doing, my man?
Morning, Shane. It's hard to believe that we're a week away from Christmas, frankly, but it is coming here. Yes, the Heisman was very interesting over the weekend, and we are having a few different bowl games until we get to the main course in the playoffs this weekend.
Yes. Reggie chimed in on Facebook Live already this morning. It says Old Dominion QB Colton Joseph is a done deal. I don't know if that's been posted or not, but I know they're very high on him. And it's funny to me, Brent, we'll talk more Gators in a minute, but it's so funny to me when I get on Twitter and look at some of the comments from people. They think you have to have a five-star quarterback to even have a chance to win a football game. If you want to look at, I tell all the people on Twitter, go look at the starting quarterbacks in the college football playoffs.
Yes.
Tell me if any of them are 5 stars. So there, take that.
Yeah.
So Brent, real quick, Heisman, did it go the way you thought? You're able to tell us who you voted for now, right?
Yeah. Anytime after the ceremony, we're allowed to do that, so that is not an issue. I voted Fernando Mendoza, the Indiana quarterback who won it. Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt was second, and Jeremiah Love was third. Shane, my question to you is as long as you and I have been covering this sport, would we have ever believed that we would have a Heisman between an Indiana quarterback and a Vanderbilt quarterback? I mean, Shane, as long as we've been covering the sport, if you'd asked us that 5, 10, 15 years ago, the people would just laugh in your face, wouldn't they?
Yeah, there's no question about that. USN Gator says Julian Sayin is a 5. Yeah, he plays like a 5-star. That's the difference.
Yes.
If you are a 5-star and you play like a 5-star, it's a different thing. He's extremely accurate, does a really good job at what he does. Brent, who's going to be the next Michigan coach?
Boy, I'm pretty sure it won't be Kalen DeBoer, who basically had 2 or 3 days of that. Jesse Minter from the staff, Joe Brady, who obviously used to be at LSU, Jed Fish, Jeff Brom. That's just a difficult situation right now. After Sharon Moore, they had 3 years of Rich Rodriguez, 4 years of Brady Hoke, Jim Harbaugh. For such a legendary school in so many ways, they're really having trouble with coaches, aren't they, Shane?
Well, they've had a lot of issues, not with just coaches, but just craziness.
Yes.
A lot of issues within the football program there. Obviously, it's not hindering their basketball team because their basketball team this year
Really,
might be the best team in America.
they may
Um,
be.
so anyway, Brent, last week we talked about a little bit about the SEC Players of the Year. Diego Pavia was your Offensive Player of the Year, and Cassius Howell was your Defensive Player of the Year. Um, we've already started bowl season. You know, it's interesting. I turned on a couple of games last night, and I was hoping to see the quarterback from Old Dominion play, but of course he's not playing.
Yeah,
Neither was the quarterback
yeah,
at South Florida. So I guess we're going to see that throughout college football during bowl season.
yeah. That's unfortunate. It really is. I mean, you get some of these teams that are down to a little bit of next to nothing. We have got Arkansas State, Missouri State in the Xbox Bowl tonight, and then obviously tomorrow we really get going with the playoffs. But there are also the Myrtle Beach Bowl, which is Kennesaw State and Western Michigan, and that's at 10 o'clock in the morning. So when are they going to eat breakfast for that one, Shane? And then the Gasparilla Bowl, Memphis and NC State in Tampa, and then tomorrow night we've got the first of the playoff games with Alabama and Oklahoma.
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into that game, Brent. It's a rematch. OU wins in Tuscaloosa. Not that that has any bearing on what's going to happen in the game tomorrow night. But we know OU's defense gave Bama fits, and
Yes.
Alabama has not been able to run the football at all. I think if you're one-dimensional against a Brent Venables defense, it's going to be difficult. How do you see this game playing out?
Well, I'm with you. I think it's going to be very difficult too, frankly. Now, part of the problem that Alabama had in the November game in Tuscaloosa were turnovers. I mean, they threw a pick six. They had a couple of crucial fumbles in the game too. Still had a chance to win the game. Missed a field goal, which certainly hurt them. But give Oklahoma a lot of credit. Oklahoma, as much as anybody in the nation, frankly, has improved from last year, and I think they have defensively. If people haven't seen Oklahoma, help me on this, Shane, that they're not exactly exciting on offense, but the reality is their defense is so good and they make so many plays. They set the offense up with short fields. So that is an issue. Jim Miller, I think, is going to be back for Alabama at running back. The guy they really needed to get back is supposed to be playing as tight end Josh Cuevas, who is, frankly, one of their better pass catchers, shall we say, and has done a really good job with that. So, I mean, both the defenses are good. Oklahoma's defense is very good. But, Shane, to your point, Bama's going to find a way to run the ball and take some time off the clock and be able to get down the field. And the problem is, too, is Alabama's not really able to throw the ball any longer than about 30 or 40 yards. So they've got to have a lot happen defensively to be able to stay in the game throughout at Oklahoma.
Yeah, and you know, Oklahoma's offense, ever since Mateer broke his thumb and had surgery on it,
Yes.
they were playing well up to that point, and but have not gotten back into any kind of rhythm since
No.
then. I also wanted to mention there's thoughts out there or rumors that Cam Coleman, wide receiver at Auburn, might transfer to Alabama. I've also heard he may transfer to Florida. So,
Yeah,
so
Shane, the issue there is how much is the NIL going to be?
that you're exactly right. It just depends on he's going to go wherever he gets the most money. I think
Yeah,
that's
yes,
what, you know, we're getting a lot of people chiming in about Jaden Ball has not signed back with the Gators yet. Obviously, Georgia's in the mix, Texas is in the mix, Ohio State's
yes,
in the mix. Look, there's a dollar amount pretty much at every school that they will
yeah,
pay for a running back.
right.
And I think the highest I've seen right now, well, I think it was Mike Morgan that mentioned the other day on my program, there were only 5 running backs in America that made $1 million. Um, that goes to show you that they don't value the running back position a whole lot. The
No,
general managers, the coaches, if there's only five in America,
sure.
because you can find a guy just as good
Yep,
in the country because there's so many good running backs out there.
they are.
It's going to be
Yeah,
interesting to see what Jaden Ball does, where he ends up. I still think he stays here, but we shall see. If people get so mad about us, we need to pay him. Well, if people are upset about it, they need to keep donating to Florida Victorious, would be my
yeah,
answer.
yeah, yeah. And that's a good answer. And look, to your point earlier about quarterbacks, it's the same thing with running backs. Often is look, there are a lot of guys out there who may not be five-star players, but they're very consistent. They don't fumble. They're able to make crucial third downs with that. And I think, if anything, from being on with you for years, the thing I've learned is, and people need to continue to realize, it's not the star rating. How productive are these guys, Shane? As you've said for years, that it's great to look good in your underwear while you're on the field, but can you get it done during the game?
Yeah, and Jaden Ball was like a three-star, I think, so he wasn't one of
Yeah,
the highly recruited guys. So hopefully we keep him. We'll see. But again, if we can, if he takes more money elsewhere, we'll be fine. Everybody
yeah.
thought the same thing when ETN left. We were fine. All right, what you got going on in Auburn under their new coaching staff? Any news coming out of the Plains?
Yeah, a lot of it is. And look, we've got so much portal stuff even before the thing really begins. It's amazing. Or guys going to the NFL. Keldrick Falk for Auburn, the defensive end, has announced he is going to the NFL. Their offensive lineman DeAndre Carter is going to enter the transfer portal with this. And Auburn's got a lot of guys transferring out. Shane mentioned Malcolm Simmons at wide receiver, Jackson Arnold, who never really panned out, or at least he didn't fit the system. Perry Thompson at wide receiver, Horatio Fields at wide receiver. I won't go into all these, but the reality of it is there are a lot of guys going out. Malcolm Simmons, as Shane mentioned, probably has got as much attention as anybody does right now. So obviously Auburn with the new coach, just trying to figure out who is going to be on the roster. And Shane, I'll tell you, we won't get into this, but I've read a lot this week about the situation on how the NFL handles off-season situations, which is basically the off-season in college football, which handles them throughout the year. So hopefully, for the health of college football, they will get that straight one day.
The Pouncey twins, Mike and Marquise, invite you to try the mango martinis at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, handcrafted with their J.F. Hayden liqueurs. Try those flavors or find your favorite at shopjfhaydens.com. Gators have a bunch of kids that have entered the portal. Again, I wouldn't lose any sleep over any of these in the portal.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, obviously, the higher profile names are DJ Lagway and some other guys of that nature, but and Pup Howard, who has Jacksonville ties, is also involved with that. Jameer Grimsley in the portal, Tank Hawkins, the wide receiver, several names. But I do think it's interesting. I know you've talked about this, about some of the coaching staff coming over from Georgia Tech, which I think is going to be interesting too. People may say Georgia Tech. Well, reality is Georgia Tech's done rather well over the last few years. So that the Gator coaching staff taking shape.
How does it look, Zach?
Yep. JC, we hear you. Be quiet.
He's just chiming in, isn't he, Shane?
Yes. All right. The dogs, Brent, I'm not great at math. Sometimes I am. How many days are the teams that get the bye? How many days off are they going to have from the last game they played?
Well, look, that's a solid point. I mean, the teams that are playing this weekend really have had, for instance, Alabama and Oklahoma play on Friday night. Both those teams have basically had 2 weeks off. But to your point, the teams that really start playing, i.e., Georgia, it seemed like by the time they really get going, Shane, that they virtually will have a month off, right?
Well, that all four teams that had a bye last year lost.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting. Text here on the Titan More text line says Shane. I don't know who this is from. Says some Gator fans are crying about guys entering the portal. They obviously forgot we went 4-8, and so far the guys who are entering didn't produce. Also, the Gators get to pull guys. Make it make sense. If they want to leave, I say let them. Yeah, I say this all the time. Obviously, I want my alma mater and the team I play for to be very good, but the eye in the sky don't lie. Okay.
Yeah.
And people get too enamored with all the players on their team.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many good players in America. Francisco Mendoza, okay?
Yeah.
Nobody in the world knew who he was until
No.
this year. And he is a transfer from Cal, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Pavia. I look, if you look at the top tier quarterbacks, especially in the Southeastern Conference, they're just guys that you've really never heard of. I mean,
Yeah.
Trinidad Chambliss from Ferris
That's
State.
right.
Okay.
Yes.
If we had signed Trinidad Chambliss last year, all hell would have been broken loose
It would have.
on the media boards or whatever they
Mm-hmm.
call them, message boards.
Yes.
But the dude can play. Okay.
Yeah.
The backup at Georgia Tech is a good player. He probably will come here. The Old Dominion quarterback is damn good. Okay. If you can run an offense, and I'm just talking about the quarterback position, it doesn't matter receivers too. There are
Mm-hmm.
so many good receivers around America, tons. So just relax and see how let these coaches do what they need to do. That's all I need to say. All right.
Yeah, well said too.
Alan in Atlanta on the Titan Mar text line says, if the reports are true, I'm very happy that Summerall wants competition at all positions, including QB. And I don't want anyone on the roster that doesn't like that competition. Agree 110%.
Yeah, good point.
Yep. All right. I lost my place here. What's going on with the LSU Tigers, Brent?
Yeah, several things here. Carius Kern, who's an offensive lineman, freshman, is entering the transfer portal. The truth of the matter is, this is a sermon on another day, but some of these guys leave really too soon. I know they're trying to better themselves, and we understand that, but that happens. Former LSU wide receiver coach Cortez Hankin is interviewed for a position on Ohio State staff. So we will kind of watch and see where that goes. In the bowl game, several guys won't play. Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback, Mansour Delane, and Whit Weeks that are out for the game against Houston. Michael Van Buren is going to be the quarterback. So, and Harold Perkins, who seems like he's been at LSU for a decade, is going to the East West Shrine game. So, looks like he's going to be entering the draft also. And again, in the Texas Bowl, LSU and Houston on December the 27th. It's going to be very interesting in it, Shane, how LSU does with this new coaching staff with Lane and the players they've got coming back.
Yeah, a couple of people keep asking me where do I think DJ will land. Some people say Texas Tech. I say Baylor. I don't think Texas Tech, regardless how much money they have, they like their quarterbacks. They got two studs.
They do.
One is a senior. The other one is a freshman who's played quite a bit, and he is damn good. I don't see them taking DJ. All right, Brent. The other SEC game involved in the playoffs, Ole Miss and Tulane. It's a rematch. The amount of money that's supposed to generate for the city of Oxford, Mississippi, is crazy.
$74 million is the economic impact for the playoff game, which is a astonishing, is it not? And obviously we can see why teams want playoff games, and I think this is another reason why that it's going to expand. We've got 12 games this year. I think next year we'll have 16. And look, and this is not, we won't get into it much, but the reality is this is certainly hurting other bowl games. Now, look, would you rather have a playoff or bowl games? You'd rather have a playoff, but still want to see bowl games that do well there and that are competitive. So that's a heck of a lot of money for a playoff, isn't it, Shane?
It is, and especially for that little small town, man, that's a lot of money, and it will go a long ways in that town, and for the Ole Miss football program for sure. Brent, I think we talked last week, Tennessee hiring their new defensive coordinator. You like
Yes.
that hire?
Yeah. Look, he is. This is Jim Knowles. He's been around for a while. He was at Penn State briefly, Duke, Oklahoma State. He basically got his reputation, or at least a lot of it, from Ohio State when he worked there. He's worked for David Cutcliffe a couple of times. Now, in last year, when he was at Ohio State, I mean, their defense was basically incredible. So, this is a big pickup for Tennessee. Frankly, they got Knowles, and Knowles is he's been around for a long time, and he kind of does it his way as he should. But look, he and this will be interesting at Tennessee, but he produces results wherever he's been. And the question is, will he do it again at Tennessee?
Yeah. The Aggies play Miami as well. This is an 11 a.m. start for some reason on Saturday.
Really.
Brent, it's interesting because the Aggies are going to lose both coordinators once their season ends. Will Stein will be the head coach at Kentucky, and then Jay Bateman, who was here. I mean, Colin Klein. What am I talking about? Yeah, Colin Klein is going to Kansas State. Jay Bateman, though, he is so-called defensive coordinator for A&M. He's leaving to go to be the defensive coordinator for Will Stein. That's what I was thinking at Kentucky. Are you surprised at Jay Bateman? I don't want to call that a lateral move, but obviously it goes to show you that I believe Elko's the one running the defense.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Yes, absolutely. But Shane, now look, I know guys can multitask, and they've probably got additional people to help them with some of their situations. But listen, how difficult would that be in basically trying to do two jobs at one time? I mean, you're trying to prepare your team for the playoffs, and then you're trying to help your new team coming in too. So I mean that can't be easy. I hear it a lot. These guys are paid a lot of extra money, so they're able to do that. But Shane's point's a good one. It's not an easy thing to go through.
No, and our coach is doing both as a head coach himself. So, but majority of his staff is here in Gainesville doing what they need to get done. Brent, give us some nuggets before you get out of here.
Yeah, be glad to be able to do that. Texas is also obviously playing. They're headed to the Citrus Bowl to play Michigan. Shane, right now, how in the world does Michigan get ready for a bowl game? It's probably a relief for them just to get out of town for a while. Frankly, this will be interesting for Texas to kind of see where this goes and how they do. A lot of thought that, or I'm curious what you've heard, that Arch would be back next year. At least that's what I've seen this week. I mean, that, nothing set in stone yet. But Shane, with the broadcasters, when they're doing this game, will they talk about the game at all, or will it all be all the off the field stuff?
Oh, definitely off the field. There's no question about that. It's going to be crazy. Clint says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing. Can you imagine if we had Cam Coleman, Dallas Wilson, Vernell Brown, and Trey Wilson at wide receiver and Ball at running back? Tell me a better offensive skill position lineup than that. I don't think you'll have all of those. You'll have, let's see, my guess would be, let's see, out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, you'll have three out of your 5 if I had to put some money on it.
Wow. And Shane, one last thing here. I know it's outside the SEC, but Clemson is kind of reloading too. But they've got a lot of guys. Khalil Barnes on defense. Their safety is going to the transfer portal. T.J. Parker is going to the draft. Their edge. Peter Woods, who people have raved about, the defensive lineman, is going to the draft. And T.J. Parker is going to the draft. So, look, everybody has their own issues. It's not just Florida. It's not just in the SEC. But everybody's trying to recoup the losses right now, aren't they?
They really are. Brian asked on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law. He wanted to know your Heisman votes. You already gave those to us. It was Mendoza, Pavia. I can't remember who you said who your third guy was.
The Notre Dame running back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. All right. Brent, great stuff as always. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. And I'm not sure what the schedule is next week, but I'll give you a shout and we'll figure it out.
Yeah. I'm glad to participate regardless of what date it is, but thanks so much.
All right, that's Brent Beaird, a college football analyst and Heisman Trophy voter. Join us on the Titan Moore Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Town. Atlantic Roofing, your roofing expert for residential and commercial roofing with more than 50 years of local experience. We're going to take a quick time out. When we're done, we'll turn this thing over to Win with JC. He and Zach will take it home, folks. Have a great day. You're watching PodUp with Matthews in the Morning from the International Diamond Center Studios. We'll be right back.
Our premium sponsors are Atlantic Roofing, Campus USA Credit Union, International Diamond Center, J.F. Hayden's Craft Liqueurs, Los Linderos Tequila, Meldon Law, Titan MRI and Imaging, Castaway Sauce, UF Health Orthopedics. Gridiron sponsors are Baker Sports, Comfort Temp, Florida Cracker Oyster, Electronics World, Gallo Car Wash, Miapa Latin Cafe, Peachland Dental, Quality Plumbing, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Silverback Concrete, 84 Lumber, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Florida Cracker Kitchen, Gator Dominoes, Ironwood Golf Course, McDonald's of Gainesville, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, UF Bookstores, Advocare, MG&A Wealth. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And to advertise, call my man Freddie, 352-284-3733.
Naysayers. Setbacks. Injuries. Life throws a lot of hurdles your way. The key is just keep jumping them.
Coach, you know, it always impressed me how you beat Florida State to win the 1996 national championship.
And I was really impressed with your 06, 08, and 09 Gator teams.
And the way you coached Danny to the Heisman Trophy.
A lot like what you did with Tim Tebow.
You know, you won more SEC championships than you lost home games at the Swamp.
And you had plenty of super games in front of our Gator Nation.
Yeah, there really is something special about the Swamp.
I guess that's why we say about the Swamp, only the Gators get out alive.
To the Swamp and the Gators, with the best beverage served at Spur's Gridiron Grill, 100% agave Los Linderos Tequila, aged in bourbon barrels for a smoother taste.
I think you mean Head Beer Coach 1966 lager, a crisp, light, bodied lager for easy drinking.
Nope. Los Linderos Tequila, smooth enough to drink neat, bold enough to elevate a cocktail.
1966 lager, enjoyed on game days in the fall or whenever you need a winning cold brew.
Los Linderos Tequila.
1966 lager.
Los Linderos.
1966 lager.
Y'all stop bickering. Okay, you're both wrong anyway. The best thing Spurrier's Gridiron Grill offers are Jerry's famous chocolate chip cookies.
The jewelry store with the most likes, the most positive reviews, the most raving fans is International Diamond Center.
IDC is definitely a place that I will come to as long as I live here. This will be my go-to place always.
Literally the best jewelry store in town. You'll make friends for life coming in here. I felt like family from the beginning. The value was extraordinary.
I've got a beautiful diamond on my finger and I'm very proud of it.
International Diamond Center.
I'm very happy to show it off.
At Celebration Point and online at shopidc.com.
All right, what's up, all my wonderful PodUppers from Matthews in the Morning? It's JC with you now for the next 25 or so minutes, live from the beautiful Gainesville International Airport, where I'm going to be making my way to Las Vegas, Nevada, to start getting ready for a huge weekend of college football playoff, pro football, week 14 or whatever, 16, 17, 18. And then, of course, there's some college basketball to look at this weekend as well. So it's a great weekend for those who like to throw a little money down on your sporting events that you care to watch or care to handicap. And so today, Zach and I are going to go through some of the playoff games. We're going to have the first round for you, the 4 games that are on tap, starting with tomorrow night's game in Norman, Oklahoma. There he is in the beautiful, beautiful Don Ho shirt, looking good there.
There we
Zach.
go.
It's got a good touch there with your hair and the background. Good stuff there. And we got Alabama and Oklahoma tomorrow night. Then we've got 3 games on Saturday. It's going to be unbelievable, even though I'm not as thrilled about the way some of these teams were picked to go into the playoff, especially these group of 5 teams, because these spreads are so big. I don't know how you pick these teams when you don't really know what they're going to offer against the favored home teams. These are home playoff games where the higher seeded team is going to be playing on their home field. And I just can't imagine a scenario where a Tulane team with Coach John Summerall goes into Oxford, Mississippi to play a very angry Mississippi Rebel team, or where Bob Chesney, who is going to UCLA, will be rolling into Eugene, Oregon. There's some serious weather up in the Northwest this weekend, and we'll get into that with tonight's game between the Rams and Seahawks. But that's going to be a tall order for James Madison to go into Oregon at Autzen Stadium and pull that off. And then, of course, the first game on Saturday is an 11 a.m. local time start between Miami and Texas A&M. And I really kind of think they missed the boat with these television times. I think I would have looked to put that game later in the day where maybe the audience would be a little bit more prime time with Miami and Texas A&M, but instead we get James Madison and Oregon, followed by, or actually that is the primetime game, and then we get the game in the middle between Mississippi and Tulane. I'm sure a lot of Gator fans are going to be watching that Mississippi-Tulane game to see how John Summerall can get his team ready to go before he starts to work as the University of Florida's head coach. So tonight, Zach, we've got an NFL game with the Rams and the Seahawks, a very important matchup in the NFC West, where the Rams hold a 1-game lead, and I guess you could say the tiebreaker with the Seahawks, since they won the first meeting between these 2 games in Los Angeles. But Seattle can win this game tonight, tie that tiebreaker. I'm not sure what the next tiebreaker is or who would have an advantage in that. I'm sure it's conference wins or division wins, whatever. But Seattle is coming into this game, I think, as a slight favorite over the Rams. The Rams are dealing with injuries to Devontae Adams. I do think the Rams, with the way they play offense, 3 tight ends, in many cases, a good running game with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum. The Rams catching 1.5. The total is 42.5. You're looking at 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts in this game in Seattle with a lot of rain potentially. I don't see how they get more than 42.5 points, because really it's not the rain, it's the wind that affects these passing games. Sam Darnold and Matt Stafford, 2 very, very good quarterbacks in the last meeting, really lighting up the field. Matt Stafford, though, I think will be more affected by the wind because of the lack of, he won't have Devontae Adams in all likelihood with the hamstring issue. What do you like in this game? I think I'm going to go with Seattle, no, because they're laying 1.5 points. I look to maybe buy it down to 1 or just go straight money line on this. at home against the Rams. I'm rooting for the Rams. That's my team. It's always been my team. But in this case, it's about the money, and I think I like Seattle to win this game at home.
Yeah, so I mean, there's two NFC heavyweights. I definitely understand the point spread being so close, and I understand the total being so low. 42 is very low for an NFL game. So I think with the wind being so high, these 30-mile-per-hour gusts, when the wind gets above that like 17 to 20-mile-an-hour range, that's when it really starts to affect the pass game. I trust a guy like Matt Stafford more in a game like that because he's got the strong arm that can cut through the wind. Their lack of Devontae Adams is a little concerning, but with that being the case, I don't typically chase touchdown bets too often. But with Devontae Adams being out, he's been their go-to guy in the red zone consistently. I think we're going to see Kyron Williams get a touchdown. He's minus 110, which isn't amazing odds. I would like to see better odds on that. But I do think there's a good chance that we see Kyron Williams get in the end zone if they get close without Devontae Adams.
He's the guy they usually give it to inside the 3-yard line. I mean, it's an automatic
not
play.
So much this year because they've been just doing fade routes to Adams more or less around the goal line. But without Adams, it will be him.
Look at the number of touchdowns he's had. You just line up the line of scrimmage and just hand it off, and usually Williams will get the ball in the end zone. The games on Saturday, just leave it to the NFL to just spit on the college football parade with two big games on Saturday. Why they have to play Saturday is beyond me, but I think I know why. The Eagles and the Washington Commanders, I tell you, Philadelphia, they're laying 6.5 in this game. I have no confidence whatsoever in how they are playing offensively. I think Washington at home, these teams are very feisty, let's say, when they play each other. These are usually pretty physical games. Jaden Daniels is out. Marcus Mariota will be starting for the Washington Commanders. This guy gives them the threat of the run, which the Eagles have trouble with. The Eagles this year have had trouble with running quarterbacks. If you look through their schedule, I heard Sal Palantonio say that. That's the only reason I know that. And I trust him. He's an Eagles beat guy, basically, for ESPN, if you want to know the truth. And they're laying 6.5. I've got to take Washington. I'm going to take Washington at home. Philly's the better team, without a doubt. But I think that 6.5 is way too many points. In fact, I would even be willing to buy that down and improve my odds with Washington to maybe even 5 or 4 or even maybe 3.5. This line is too big. I think Washington covers this spread, and I also think that the under could come in to play here at 44.5.
Yeah, I don't like such a big spread in a divisional game, but the Eagles, their offense in particular is coming around. Last week, I mean, they played the Raiders. I mean, good Lord, if you can't get it together against the Raiders, I don't know what you are doing. But the Commanders have definitely been stumbling. Their defense had a significant drop-off. Last year they had, I believe, a top 5 defense, if not top 10. And this year they're more around the 20s and lower range. I think the Eagles are coming into their peak of the season right now, and I think they probably win this game by at least a touchdown against the Commanders.
So you're opposite of me on this game. You like
on this one, yeah. Big. On this one, I like the Eagles to cover, yeah.
You like the Eagles big in this one. Okay. Well, I can see that. I know Washington's defense is not that great, but my goodness, I think their offense is really struggling. We go to Chicago, and this is a huge game for the Bears and Packers. The Bears had the Packers. They let them off the hook in Green Bay a couple weeks ago. Should have won that game. This is a revenge game for the Bears. This is probably my favorite pick on the board for Saturday, which includes the college games, actually. I love the Bears in this game, and I love them because I think they've really found something with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Those two have really connected. Green Bay is dealing with serious injury issues on the defensive side of the ball. Of course, Micah Parsons out for the year. Christian Watson, they say, is going to give it a shot on the end at wide receiver on offense for Green Bay. He's an important weapon for Jordan Love. But I like the Bears. I'm going to take the home team and take the Bears. It's going to be very cold, of course. It always is. But give me the Chicago Bears with 1.5.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on the Bears. I think the Bears are the better team overall. Caleb Williams has been playing his best. He's really coming into that number 1 overall pick status at this point. And I would look for Ben Johnson to have 1 or 2 of those deep-in-the-bag trick plays. I'm not saying an offensive lineman's going to catch a touchdown, but just one of those crazy trick plays that seem to just always work and go right. He'll have one to, and points might be at a premium in that game because I haven't looked closely at the weather, but I imagine there's going to be cold and windy in that game as well. Yards are going to be at a premium, points are going to be at a premium, and Ben Johnson's going to find a way to make them happen.
We have the college football playoffs beginning tomorrow, and I tell you, this Oklahoma-Alabama game, if everybody goes by what happened in Tuscaloosa, in that Oklahoma won the game, that's what basically got them into the playoff. I agree with all that. But this is an offense that is sputtering, just like Alabama's. Alabama had a great 4-game stretch this year, beating Georgia, Vanderbilt, Missouri, and Tennessee, all in successive weeks, no open dates. And really, that's what gave Alabama the metrics, I think, that get them through into the playoff at 10-2. Remember, 10-2 was their record during the regular season. That game with Georgia was a game with Georgia. That could happen. Georgia got blown out by Alabama a couple years ago in the SEC championship game and then proceeded to win the national title. These damn conference championship games, they have to do something about these games because for some reason they've been pretty lousy the last couple years, if you ask me. Alabama's going in as a 1.5-point underdog. This line started at Alabama being the favorite. Oklahoma, with the home field, you have to like the way their defense stacks up against Alabama's pathetic one-dimensional offense, but they are getting some players back. They're going to be a little bit healthier on the offensive side, Alabama is. Cuevas, the tight end, is a very important piece in Ty Simpson's arsenal. He has very little run support with Jam Miller and the other kid, Daniel Hill, I believe his name. I don't know if Alabama can score enough points to win this game against that defense. But I saw an LSU team, a very weak LSU team, basically beat Oklahoma in the last time they played in Norman, Oklahoma. Last time Oklahoma played in Norman, Oklahoma. And LSU is horrible. And LSU was basically a blown coverage away from winning that game. I think a tuned-up Alabama team can go into Norman, Oklahoma and win that game. But it would not surprise me in the least to see Oklahoma win by as many as maybe even 10 points, only because of how bad Alabama's offense is. And if they get behind, it could really be a messy night. Oklahoma has Alabama's number. They simply do. They've won the last 2 times they've played, and then the last time they played last year in Norman, it was a joke. But Jalen Milroe, thank God, is not playing in this game for Alabama. I'm going to take Alabama, my alma mater, by God, to win this game and go to the damn Rose Bowl to face Fernando Mendoza and the Indiana Hoosiers. Give me the Tide. Roll Tide.
All right, I hear you, JC. Of all the 4 games, this is probably the one that I feel the least confident about. But I do think that I will go with the Sooners from Oklahoma. As I've been listening all year, you've been saying that the Alabama Crimson Tide, they are one-dimensional. They don't have a run game. And week after week, I keep seeing evidence that simply is the case. And I think that when you give a defense like Oklahoma, Brent Venables, an opponent that is one-dimensional, they're going to find ways to get a lot of stops and create a lot of chaos and probably put their offense in good field position to score. The over-under being a 40-point in total is, that's crazy low, even for a playoff game that's probably going to be in relatively cold weather. But yeah, I like Oklahoma. I do. And John Mateer is the X factor. If his hand is 100% healthy, I think Oklahoma could win, almost running away with it. Now, if he goes out there,
what I was worried about.
Yeah, if he goes out there and he performs as he has the past few weeks, which, frankly, I think that's probably what we'll see is more the second half of the year performance from him. It'll be a lot closer, but I do think that Oklahoma's defense will be enough to just edge out the win. 2 points is not a lot. I think they can win by a field goal for sure.
Well, you're watching Win with JC here, folks. For the next 15 or 20 minutes, we're going to continue on with this weekend's big games and what you'd like to gamble on. I'm at the Gainesville International Airport, getting ready to head to Las Vegas. Zach Rothrock in Gainesville, getting ready to have a big weekend before we get to the Lord's birth. Let's see. This is great. Zach 6824. Use your brain, JC. I'm trying to use my brain. It is 8:43 in the morning. Someone send JC some AirPods for Christmas. That'd be wonderful. I'd love that. Although I don't know if I want all that radiation in my ear. I kind of like the hookup and the old school look. Let's see. Barone wants me to tell him who's going to win the Western Carolina, or what the total the over-under is on the Western Carolina-Georgia basketball game. Here's what I will tell you, Barone. Without having looked at that whatsoever, I always bet overs in basketball. Last night, Alabama played South Florida. It was an up-and-down game. The total was 181. Nobody loves those numbers when they're that high. It's 181 for a reason, and they want you to bet the under, knowing damn well it's going to go over, and it easily covered that number, 181. Alabama won by 11 over South Florida. Take the over. Just take the over, and that way you can win this bet before the game even ends. If you're sitting on the under, you're waiting for free throws to screw you. You're waiting on scrubs to come in. I think it's an overplay for you, Barone. I'm not sure about that, but I think it's an overplay. How about this one? Zach says 10,000 on the Oregon money line would win you $453, JC. That's why those games are just, I mean, wouldn't it be better if you had Notre Dame in there going to Autzen Stadium? Wouldn't it be better if Texas was going to Autzen Stadium? Let's pull up that chart again. Let's look at the odds for the winner. You know, Indiana goes and beats Ohio State, and it's still 3.25 to 1, $3.25 to win the Natty. Ohio State, everybody loves them. They love them because of the athletes.
Yeah.
They love them because of the quarterback. They love them because of the coach. They love them because of the defense. I don't know if I love them as much because I saw Indiana stand right up to them athletically and in every other aspect and punch them in the face. Georgia is the team I would take on this board if I had to play a future. And I would take Miami at 20 to 1 as well, because I think Miami, and I know all of our South Florida listeners hate it when I say this, but the Miami Hurricanes have as many athletes as anyone else. It's just Mario Cristobal gets in the way sometimes. He's a great elite recruiter, but do you love him on game day? The answer is hell no, you don't love him on game day. So the first game that's going to happen on Saturday is that Miami-Texas A&M game. And this one, when I first saw this, Zach, I said to myself, man, I love the Canes here. What is wrong with me? Texas A&M has been an excellent team this year. They play great defense. They have got athletes everywhere. But they were exposed when South Carolina forced Marcel Reed to throw the football. And when I see what's coming Marcel Reed's way in the terms of an edge rush with Ruben Bain and these guys, and when I see what Mario's going to do, he's just smart enough to understand this. I guarantee you he is. That 3.5 points is gold for me. I think the Canes win this game, and I would almost even say screw the 3.5, go with the money line. Take Miami. That's my play on Saturday morning.
You know, I think if you're going to go with Miami, I'm with you. I think take the money line. Don't even bother with the points. I think if they do end up winning, I think they could win by at least a touchdown or so. However, something I'm looking at with this game in particular, Carson Beck, when he's not pressured, he has a clean pocket. He completes over 77% of his passes. That's a staggering amount. But when he gets pressured, that number goes down to around 50%. And the Texas A&M pass rush, they've had their off games. Yeah, the game against South Carolina I think that was an anomaly. So me being a Gamecock fan, I think that what we saw in that game was we actually saw the elite version, the good version of the 2025 South Carolina Gamecocks that was getting all the hype in preseason. They actually did show up in that game, at least for the first half anyway.
Yeah, they did.
So I kind of think that was a big part of that. And so if you look at it through that lens, 28 points at halftime is bad, but they did come back and they did win that game. And I think their pass rush is the type of unit that can really get after Carson Beck and get him to get in that kind of mode. You can almost see it in his face. So you can see the confidence leave his face at times when he gets in these situations and the game gets out of hand. And I could see this game kind of turning ugly. I could see him trying to force turnovers, get sacked. And I could just see the Texas State. I could see Marcel Reed just frankly not having to impact this game or be a factor much at all. And that would be the Texas. That would be their goal. Would be to make it a low scoring game. Yeah.
Well, in fairness to Marcel in that South Carolina game, his receivers were dropping passes everywhere.
They played awful. They played their worst.
They dropped the ball in the end zone. They dropped the ball in the flat. And the true measure of a team that wins something big during the year is always going to go through a game like that and persevere and win it. And that's exactly what A&M did. So I'm not trying to say that A&M is a flop here. And it wouldn't surprise me to see them win. I just believe that Miami's athletes and the fact that Carson Beck, if he's got time, can just fillet you. And I know Elko's excellent. He's excellent.
For sure.
This is the best game on Saturday. How about let's go to Oxford right now, where these guys right here, the freaking Green Wave. Now, if I had to choose between Tulane and JMU to represent the group of five in this playoff, it absolutely would be Tulane to me, because I've seen what Tulane can do. I haven't seen JMU. I have seen that JMU lost a game to Louisville this year and really wasn't in the game and played a very, very soft schedule and is going to get blown out at Oregon. By the way, just lay the 21 and forget about it. Oregon's not going to fool around with these guys. Oregon is not going to fool around with these guys. And there are just so many athletes on the outside for Oregon. But let's go back to Tulane. Here's the thing with Tulane. They get beat by Mississippi earlier. Lane Kiffin was on the sideline. Lane Kiffin won't be. Charlie Weiss Jr., however, will be calling plays for Ole Miss. They are a 17.5-point favorite. Shane and I, during the week, both thought that this game would be closer than the first game was, because we basically like the fact that Tulane has played very good football fundamentally and otherwise physically. They dominated in their conference championship game. They dominated Memphis on a Thursday night, I think it was, on ESPN, was the only game on television. They did great things. And Coach Summerall is just a winner. He's just a winner. He is a winner. And he's going to have these guys just hyped up, ready to go. Mississippi, I think, in the end, will have too many athletes. But Summerall, I think, has a very, very good record in revenge games. I had it pulled up here, but, of course, it went away. And I can't bring you that metric. But Coach Summerall in these games, actually, I think I can bring it up. Here it is. John Summerall is 5-0 straight up and 4-1 against the spread when looking for revenge against an opponent. However, the one non-cover came at Tulane, so the 4 against the spread wins came when he was at Troy. All right, that's fair. That means he was good at making adjustments against lesser competition. There's no guarantee that's going to translate to Oxford. I agree with that analysis very much. Oxford, look, Mississippi's got something to show for, and they had the Georgia Bulldogs beating Athens. They're the better team. They're the better team. But 17.5, Zach, I mean, what do you think? I'm thinking about looking at a first half play with Ole Miss and then maybe a game play for Tulane, just because I think Ole Miss is going to shoot out of the gate. They're going to try to get ahead quickly, and then Tulane's going to just kind of get into the game a little bit, somehow backdoor that 17.5. That may be wishful thinking, but I think a first half play on Ole Miss, if it's under 10, is a good play.
That's an interesting approach. That's something that I had not necessarily considered.
Well, you can look at Hard Rock. You can look at Hard Rock and get, here in Florida, we have Hard Rock. Where I'm going to go, there are tons of apps you can use to choose where you shop and what you play. I'm going to load up the Circus Sports app today. You can bring cash to the counter at any of their 3 casinos there in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street and just fill up the app that way. You don't have to Venmo or wait for a transfer or any of that stuff. You don't have to register. Well, you do, but you don't have to worry about waiting for money to get there. It will be there when you make your deposit. And I hope some of these folks that are watching at some point do tell us some stories from their trips to Las Vegas if they are going to go. I highly recommend, if you want to do sports wagering, if you want to watch sports in a great sports book, the best one in town is at the Circa Resort and Casino in downtown Las Vegas. The first half play for Tulane is looks like you can get 9.5. So the first half spread for Ole Miss, rather, is 9.5. I think I like that in the first half.
Okay. Yeah. So basically a 10-point game at the half. Yeah, that could be
10-point game. I mean, Ole Miss could come out and lead by 2 touchdowns and win by 10. Or win by 14, and you still win that 17.5 cover. I would love to see Tulane bring this game to the fourth quarter and get through the third. I'd love to see that. But Mississippi is a damn good football team and probably one of the top 3 teams in the SEC, to be honest. So I like Mississippi.
Yeah, my whole thing about the
But go
Miss,
Tulane.
Yeah, right. Yeah, my whole thing about Ole Miss is I just don't know how focused they're going to be and how into the game. There's reports that Trinidad Chambliss may not play in the game. I mean, that would be huge. Okay,
there's no way.
Okay, because what I'm about to get to with that is if he were to be out, the spread would be far closer. Right,
it'd be crazy.
So yeah, but. I guess what I'm getting at is if you want to take Tulane with the points, get it now, because this number is not going to get bigger. It would only get closer, if anything, if the word gets out those guys aren't going to play. I think the Tulane players are going to be more. I don't know about focus, because the Ole Miss players that are playing are going to be focused. They're going to be ready. They've worked all season for this. It's a strange situation, though. And so I think you give a team that has got less distractions, even though their coach is also leaving. It's just different. They got less distractions in Tulane. You give me 17.5 points. It's the biggest game these kids have played in their life and potentially probably ever will play. I like them to cover 17.5 points just with all these factors at play, even though Ole Miss far superior in talent. If Lane Kiffin was on the sideline, I would take them probably minus 20, maybe, probably not more than 20, but about 20. It's just a weird situation. I do like Tulane to cover.
We have MSRK asking me about the Bucks in Carolina. I tell you, I think I like Tampa because the only reason I say that is because Carolina just hasn't figured it out. They could have had the golden opportunity to take out New Orleans, couldn't do it on the road. Now, they're a much better team at home. MSRK, this is a coin flip. I'd have to wait until Sunday, to be honest with you. Franklin wants to know what kind of ring this is. This is my Alabama graduation ring. Roll Tide. I also went to Florida, by the way, and went to graduate school at UF. Clint wants to know about the Masters. Clint, I can't think of golf right now. God almighty. I'd love to, Clint. I'd love to help you on that. I'll look at it, and maybe when we come back in a couple of weeks, because next week is Christmas. The week after that is New Year's Day. Not sure what our program is going to be. Real quick, this team, Texas Tech, is another one of those dogs. They have a tough draw, though. If they will be playing in the Orange Bowl. The damn game is early in the day. I don't understand that either. The Orange Bowl has always been at night. But they're going to play Oregon. They're going to play the Oregon Ducks. That's going to be damn hard. But you know what? This team right here, with their $30 million NIL, could be the sleeper that everybody's waiting to pick. But to me, it's Georgia at 600 and then these guys. And then I think Miami at 20-1, Zach. Those are going to be my three.
850
but look at Texas Tech at 850. $8.50. I want to see what these numbers are and report tomorrow. I'm going to be on the air. It'll be 5 o'clock in the morning, but I'm going to have some Vegas numbers and some Vegas sights and sounds for you on PodUp with Matthews in the morning. We're pretty much out of time, and I've got to catch a plane. Zach, anything to finish off the segment with?
No, man, we're out of here. I think we covered a lot of bases.
Okay. All right, guys. I'll be flying to Vegas. I'll see you in the morning tomorrow from the beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, downtown Fremont Street experience. You guys have a great day. Good luck with your bets, and we will catch you tomorrow.